Hey there! So here I go again, reading to you another portion from my memoir, Memoirs of an Ex-Transgender. While Daddy needed divine intervention to fall for Mummy, Mummy was already infatuated with him in an earthly way. Growing up, she secretly admired her handsome neighbor. Oh, Malcolm Smith, the handsome young man with the muscular body, was the dream of every Gael in Malacca. They were neighbors, but never once did he seem to pay any attention to her. Sigh, maybe I'm too young for him, murmured her heart. Or maybe I'm not glamorous enough for him. She had seen his fashionable ladies he dated. How could she ever compete with them for his attention? She's only a poor girl in a worn-out hand-me-downs covered in soot. Instead of perfume, she smelled of garlic and onions, which she had to peel night and day. One day, however, something happened. Mummy had been secretly studying Daddy's routine. Every day at 12 p.m., he would cycle past her house on his way home for his lunch break. Mummy cheekily toyed with the idea of sweeping her house compound at that time. Even if he wouldn't glance at her, she could at least steal a glimpse of his good looks. Life was getting mundane for Mummy, and there was nothing to bring excitement to her adolescent years. Hence, 5 minutes before noon, in the middle of stirring her curries, Mummy would rush out of the kitchen into her front yard to sweep from fallen leaves. Armed with a penyapu lidi, she would randomly sweep some leaves. Unfocused, she often missed half of them. The moment she heard the familiar sounds of Malcolm's bicycle approaching, she quickly straightened herself and tried to flash a smile while flipping a luscious long hair back. The few seconds were vital, and she had to get it right. Otherwise, Daddy would just zoom past without even realizing someone was cuckoo enough to be sweeping leaves under the scorching heat of the tropical noonday sun. One day, something remarkable happened. As Mummy prepared to toss her hair backwards with the sweetest smile plastered on her face, while still swinging her broom aimlessly in the air from left to right, something hit her foot. Ooh, what's that? Did Malcolm just throw something at me? She looked down and noticed a piece of paper tied to a pebble. With trembling fingers, she picked it up. A note, a message, a love letter. She quickly ran to the toilet, clutching the precious pebble and paper in her sweat-soaked hands. Back in the 1960s, toilets were awful, stinky outhouses. It was basically a wooden cubicle with a bucket in the middle holding the family's pee and poop. The bucket would only be emptied when the bucket man came over at night, and he didn't come often. Hence, pee and poop would sometimes be left to ferment for days on end. Imagine the stench. It was amidst this revolting reek that Mummy read the first romantic message dedicated to her. Actually, it was just a simple scribble reminding her to take care of herself. That's it. Period. Nothing romantic, nothing amorous. But to a 15-year-old girl, an old teenager, tipsy with love, that one line of advice was more than enough to set her heart aflutter and her mind wandering. It was an acknowledgement from the man of her dreams that she wasn't invisible after all. He had taken note of her. Sweeping the front yard and under the sweltering sun was worth it after all. From that day onwards, Mummy became even more obsessed with sweeping the front yard at noon. She had found a new hobby. Daddy, meanwhile, cycled home promptly from his lunch daily, armed with his Cupid's arrow, a note wrapped around a pebble, He would hurl the pebble towards Mummy's direction, making sure not to bruise her ankle like he did the first time. Once in her hands, Mummy rushed to the stinky outhouse to devour the few words on the little note. She had truly gone madly in love. Grandma Gladys, the mastermind, then took the game up a notch. She offered herself to be the messenger of love, literally. The modus operandi was simple. Daddy would write short messages on pieces of paper. Grandma Gladys then tucked these messages in between the pages of her songbook, in between her leisure hours, which she had plenty of on her hands. She carried out her mission. Songbook in hand, mission in mind, Grandma Gladys would march towards the Alcantraz home, calm, cool, and composed. With Grandpa Francis away at work, she could talk for as long as she liked with the future daughter-in-law of her own picking. Mummy, as always, was respectful. Each conversation confirmed to Grandma Gladys even more that this was the type of daughter-in-law she would have in her household. The last thing she wanted was someone who would fight and compete with her for her son's affection. Oh yes, Daddy was Grandma Gladys' blue-eyed boy. It was during these casual chats that they steadily exchanged songbooks. Grandma Gladys would hand over the songbook with a fresh message from Daddy, while Mummy returned the previous day's songbook with her own message inserted in between the pages of love songs. Mission accomplished, Grandma Gladys then called it a day and strolled home with the message for her son. Mummy, meanwhile, would find a quiet corner in her house to read the not-so-secret message from her unofficially official boyfriend. Grandma Gladys was glad. Her plan was working out well. She had witnessed with her own eyes how the seeds of love sown germinated gradually. For months, she had tended to the garden, watering and fertilizing the young shoots of love. She had always scrutinized Mary thoroughly and determined Mary's suitability as the next Mrs. Smith. A chaste maiden untainted by the filth of this world, Mary was definitely ready to be grafted into the Smith family. For that, Grandma Gladys had to carefully plan how to strike up a conversation with Mr. Alcantara, the ever-protective father to Mummy. Meeting up with the man was not difficult as they were neighbors, but broaching the subject of marriage was tricky, as she was aware of the reputation of her son Malcolm had amassed in the Portuguese settlement. Serious, no-nonsense fathers like Mr. Alcantara would not approve of marrying off their teenage daughters to potential philandering men like Malcolm. Grandpa Francis, however, was not aware Malcolm had turned from Romeo to religious. He had been seeking divine intervention, and once his heart was resolute and convinced that Mary was the one for him, he had his eyes for no one else. Over a few cups of tea, Grandma Gladys tried her best to convince Grandpa Francis. Malcolm had turned over a new leaf. Grandma Gladys made her pitch. After all, hadn't it been months since Malcolm was seen with any other girls? Grandpa Francis was reticent as he mulled over the matter carefully. He loved his only daughter and wanted only the best for her. Would docking her at home just to clean and cook for the family be the best option for her? Mary was a dutiful daughter, but she was also growing up to be a young lady with a desire to chart her own course. So I'm going to stop here, and continue on another time. So I hope you are enjoying this series that I'm doing, reading from my third book, first memoir, Memoirs of an Ex, Transgender. For those who do not know me, I'm Reverend Edmund Smith, the ex-transgender pastor who's based in Malacca, Malaysia. God bless each and every one of you. and I hope you're learning